The courtroom smelled of polish and nerves. My palms rested flat on the cold oak table, steady. Across from me, Daniel leaned back in his chair, hands folded like a man certain of victory. His lawyer whispered something, and he smiled, that same arrogant smile I used to mistake for confidence. The judge cleared his throat. "Mr. and Mrs. Reed, we'll now hear the final statements." Daniel stood first. "Your Honor," he began, voice smooth, "I've tried to make this marriage work. But she," he gestured at me without looking, "is an unfit mother. The children are neglected. The house is chaos. I'm only doing what's best for them." He said it like a man saving the world. Every lie was perfectly wrapped in sincerity. I could almost admire it. Almost. When he finished, the judge turned to me. "Mrs. Reed?" I rose, calm. "Your Honor," I said, "my husband is right about one thing. He's doing what's best for himself." A flicker crossed Daniel's face. Just a twitch, but I saw it. I always did. The judge frowned. "Explain." Before I could speak, a small voice interrupted. "Your Honor?" It was Ethan, our 6-year-old, standing beside the bailiff, fidgeting with his sleeve. The judge looked down kindly. "Yes, son?" Ethan's voice trembled, but his words were clear. "Should I tell you why Daddy really wants us? The thing he said about the money Grandma left in our names?" Daniel's head snapped toward him. "Shut up!" he roared. The gavel slammed like thunder. "Mr. Reed, that's enough. Bailiff, detain him." As the officers moved, Daniel's mask shattered. Panic twisted his features. He lunged forward, shouting, but they held him back. And I, finally, exhaled. We met 12 years ago at a charity gala. He spilled wine on my dress and made me laugh. I mistook charm for kindness, ambition for integrity. He said he wanted to build a life, a family, a legacy. I didn't realize I was part of the assets he intended to acquire. For years, I believed in the illusion, until it cracked. It started small, late nights, cold eyes, business trips that didn't add up. Then, one evening, I found an email, hidden in drafts, not sent. Transfer kids' inheritance to joint trust, easier to access. He'd been planning it for months. The betrayal wasn't the affair, that came later. It was this. He saw our children as currency. I remember sitting in the dark that night, staring at the screen, my pulse steady. There was no rage, no screaming, just clarity. He'd made a game out of our lives, but he'd underestimated the woman who learned to play quietly. I started documenting everything, every lie, every transaction, every late-night whisper to his so-called financial advisor. I hired a forensic accountant, a private investigator, and an attorney who didn't flinch at manipulation. When Daniel filed for divorce, claiming I was unstable, I let him. He expected tears. Instead, he got silence. He thought he'd win custody easily. He'd rehearsed it all, the fake concern, the fatherly devotion, the crocodile charm. But what he didn't know was that I had already told Ethan the truth, gently, carefully. I didn't script his words. I simply made sure he understood what was being done to him. And children, they remember, especially the truth. The trial lasted 3 months. Every session was another act in his performance. But performances crumble when the audience sees behind the curtain. On the final day, I gave my attorney one silent signal. He handed the judge a folder, emails, bank statements, and one audio clip. Daniel's voice filled the courtroom. "The kids don't need that money sitting there. I'll move it, use it. They'll get it back later, if it's still around." The judge's pen froze. Daniel's lawyer went pale. But the real dagger came from Ethan. His words, innocent and unfiltered, cut through every lie Daniel had built. When the bailiff restrained him, Daniel's eyes met mine. For the first time, he looked small, cornered, beaten not by anger, but by precision. The court awarded me full custody. The inheritance remained untouched, secured. Daniel was charged with attempted financial fraud and coercion. Outside the courthouse, the sky was clear. Reporters shouted questions. I ignored them. Ethan slipped his hand into mine. "Mom," he whispered, "is Daddy going to be mad?" I knelt down, brushed his hair back. "No, sweetheart," I said softly. "He's just going to learn what happens when people forget the truth." He nodded, satisfied with that answer. As we walked away, I looked back one last time. At the man who thought he could destroy me, control me, own me. He forgot the one rule I live by now. Never start a war with a woman who's already lost everything once. Because when she comes back, she doesn't fight for revenge. She fights for justice. And justice never misses.